Listen, since age 6, okay? The other kids were out there building blocks, okay? I was out there in the fucking streets. I knew what had to be done. So I've had my practice, okay? I put in my due diligence. But that's not the case for everyone. There are actually, like, unironically, a lot of really fucking lonely, fucking sad dudes out there. And that totally sucks, because that's a failure of society. If you have hundreds of thousands or millions of people who feel ostracized from society, who feel sexually, physically, socially worthless, this is a failure of society. And as somebody who spent 4 years studying sociology, I would not be accurately reflecting the pedigree I have been endowed with if I didn't, talk about this issue. So let's talk about this, all right? Now, I'm going to be talking specifically about men here, presumably cisgender men, and largely straight men, because we all know gay men get laid like gangbusters, for the most part. So I'm going to be focusing on this very sort of narrow social confine. And the reason why I want to do this, the reason why this is so important to me, is for the exact same reason that I put out my YouTube videos, okay? Because my aggressive rhetoric, my edgy, irreverent, like kind of 4chan-esque humor, these things are authentically me. This is me. This is what I'm like. But I also recognize that this behavior attracts a certain kind of person. It attracts these edgy, irreverent, sort of socially dejected dudes who may feel ostracized from leftism, which they see as effeminate, weak, and irrational. I bring those things to the table. I bring the masculinity. I bring the strength. I bring that cold rationality. I don't talk usually about empathy in my videos. Do you notice that? Very rarely do I talk about how it sucks that conservatives and reactionaries don't care about brown people or don't care about trans people. I don't talk about that shit. I can't teach people empathy. But what I can do is point people out on being hypocrites. I can get them to admit that their beliefs stem from bigotry, disgust, from nothing rational, that they're operating purely out of feelings. I do this for a reason, and it is for that reason that I want to give credence to and target and address the concerns of the incel, because there are a lot of them, and there are a lot of people who are incel-esque who don't identify as incels. I want to address these people, okay? And as it so happens, glorious day, on this day, I saw in my suggestions channel down on Discord, recommended not only to the person who posted it, but also by my girlfriend who saw it, this video. Why women have totally unrealistic standards for men, dating, and marriage. There is, I think, hold on. Every time I do this, my camera's misaligned. Every time I talk about incels, I have difficulty sort of deciding what lens to frame this through, like what the framework should be. Sometimes I like to talk about it in regards to sexual entitlement. Sometimes I like to talk to it in regards to body positivity. I have a video on that on my channel, though it's a fairly old one. But this time I want to talk about double standards, okay? It is a classic incel kind of like nice guy move to say that there are double standards in like the dating sexual marketplace between how women treat men and men treat women, okay? And normally when a person complains about this, it's like they're like throwing out the fucking like bat signal. I'm a piece of shit. Like I'm a fucking creep. I don't understand systemic gender issues, you know? And that's easy. But what's hard is recognizing two uncomfortable facts. For one, that their criticisms and concerns belie a legitimate social problem that we need to look at, lest it, metastasize and lead people down worse routes, like, fascism. And secondly, that the incels are right. There's a huge double standard between how men and women are treated in the sexual dating marketplace. And women come out on top 9 times out of 10. I want to talk about that. We're going to watch this video, and I'm going to give my commentary, okay? And after we're done with this video, I'm going to talk about incels, and I'm going to talk about self-improvement. Okay? So if there's anyone in the audience right now, and I particularly mean straight dudes, though not necessarily straight, but almost certainly dudes, who sympathize with this sense of dejection or sympathize, I guess, with this feeling of alienation or loneliness, please stick with me. Because when I'm done with this video, I'm going to share my experiences overcoming my own social deficiencies. And I'm going to try and plug those in to how, at least on an individual level, a person can better themselves. And then we'll pull that back into sort of a systemic approach. Okay? That is my intention. So let's give it a shot.
Hello.
And let me know how the voice to video audio bouncing is.
This is Rebecca Lynn Pope coming on real quick. You guys know that I have been swamped lately, but I promised I would come on and just share my viewpoints on why women are just, many women, I'm not going to say all women, but many women are very, very unrealistic about their standards for men, dating, and marriage. So I'm going to give my opinion on this. And now listen, girls, I'm about to be very raw. I'm about to be very real. I'm about to just shoot it to you as just straight as I can, because I'm hoping that this helps somebody.
See, I told you, straight.
Because as you girls know, I'm a matchmaker. And for a large part of
She's a matchmaker. Let me actually look at this woman's credentials, okay? Rebecca Lynn Pope, matchmaker uncut. Okay, there's a pretty big market for like sort of turncoat women who talk largely about women's issues, but every once in a while they'll throw a bone to the incel audience. I think we can see that demonstrated pretty clearly in the views of these videos. Most of the videos being put out by this woman are ranging between like 5,000 and 10,000 views, and this video over 2/3 This is a market that people like to tap into. And I have looked into the comments section, and I promise you that it is reflective of a comment section which one would expect to have been brigaded by angry, lonely men. So,
last year and beginning of this year, I stopped matchmaking. And the reason I stopped matchmaking is because I literally was being, I can't handle female clients. I was a matchmaker that matched females, and I had a few male clients, but predominantly I was matching women. And listen, it was such a valuable lesson for me, because what I learned is that the average woman doesn't really want just a good man. She doesn't want a husband. What she's really wanting are these standards or ideas that she has of what a man is supposed to be. But this is nothing what men are. This is not realistic.
Let me pause right here, okay? I'm not stupid enough to pretend that I, or even any sort of like academically verified data collection, could possibly ascertain something as wildly complicated as what women want in men, or what men want in women. The problem here is that not only do people tend to be extremely dishonest when projecting and expressing their preferences when it comes to a partner, people's preferences also change, and many people don't even know what they want. It's not really easy to just this is very difficult to get data on, okay? With that being said, there are ways to, broadly speaking, make assumptions, and I'll be sort of picking apart, because I have looked at actual data on this. I will be picking this apart as we go forward. And I'm also going to speed this up a little bit, because I feel as though, by the way, and this is apropos of nothing, what kind of fucking degenerate films in, what is this, square? This isn't even like portrait mode. Is this an actual square? Wait, okay. Yeah, this is a fucking square. What?
She's filming herself on her iPad or something.
What? iPads don't have square cameras. What has a square camera?
You can change it to a square view.
Why? It's gonna get uploaded in fucking 16:9 anyway. It's 4:3. No, guys, it's not 4:3 unless it got compressed in editing. Where's my fucking pasta? Okay, this is the ruler. Okay, so it cuts off here where the little drawings of the wheat are, and then, yeah, dude, no, this isn't 4:3. This is square. I don't understand. Nothing films in square anymore.
who men are, how they think, what they value. It's just this preconceived, idea that women have of who men should be. But this is not reality. Okay? So literally, the standards here that I see consistently in women that stay single, do not get married, and the difference between women and wives is understanding one,
what the
that men
fuck?
are not women.
That's the video,
wives.
not me.
It's
Look,
understanding
I'm moving the mouse.
one, that men are
Jesus
not women.
Christ. What did she film this on? Was this like one of the early Game Boy Color? Like, you remember the camera attachment that you could use as add-ons to some games? What the fuck? Do you think she, like, ripped that off of her fucking, like, her son's, like, antique toy collection? Like, yeah, this'll work?
He's not going to be your best friend like your best girlfriend. You can't talk to him like that. They don't talk like that. They don't talk that much. They're not so sensitive and girly the way we are as women. So if you're expecting a man to be all super sensitive and so considerate and just so everything like your girlfriends, you're barking up the wrong tree. He's going to hurt your feelings all the time, or else you're going to feel like he doesn't communicate because you're holding these standards like he's a girl.
All right. So remember when I said the incels were right? That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything this dumb bitch says, all right? Jesus fucking Christ. If you want a dude that... Wait, so if you're looking for a friend who will be sensitive and kind, then that's what girls do. Boys will hurt your feelings all the time. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. Leave that to your gay guy friends, or leave that to your bestie guys that talk kind of like girls. Your man that you're going to marry is not going to be like that, right? The second standard is this.
I just want to say my partner is my best friend. I don't know about you guys. We're doing okay.
Comparing good men to... I can't say this. F-boys. I'm just going to say it. You're comparing good men to the men that you've experienced previously who were not ready to be husbands, that you were just dating, messing around with. I mean, literally, there's a distinct difference between marriage material, men who are ready to be husbands, and these F-boys that you've been messing around with in out of these situationships with for years.
So this fits perfectly into the incel virgin Chad dichotomy. Okay, listen, this is all right. We need to introduce ourselves to this immediately. Okay, this is very necessary. Paint stream. Okay, so here is hypergamy. Okay, conceptually, and the sexual distribution of the marketplace. Okay, so here is I'm gonna say some gross shit here. Okay, but I'm reflecting a worldview that is held by quite a few people, okay? So I'm going to divide this up into, I don't know, an arbitrary number of categories, okay? What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8? Sure. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, listen. Here's the good-ass shit, okay? So this right here is femoids, and this right here is glorious alpha male chads, all right? And up here are the 10s, and down here are the 1s, okay? Men and women both exist on a hierarchical scale, which is determined by their social worth, okay? So being attractive, being physically fit, being wealthy, being confident, being sociable, not being fucking autistic or whatever, this shit will put you up here at the very top, the top-a-rooney, okay? Up here at the Tenzo. These are the Chads and the Stacys, all right? A lot of people believe this. And down here at the bottom, you have, I guess, basically the opposite of everything I just said. You have the most dejectedly ugly, miserable, wretched scoundrels of the earth. People with no social skills, with no self-awareness whatsoever. Basically like wandering, wretched subhumans that have no right to exist. Okay? So, this right here, this is thetical. to the sort of incel way of looking at life. This has been reflected in the red pill community, the pickup artist community, basically any community that tries to commodify social interaction looks at the world in this way, okay? And you know what? Yeah. I mean, if enough people look at the world this way, this is how the world becomes. That's kind of the problem with social hierarchies. If enough people think that a given set of characteristics puts you on top and that a given set of characteristics put you on the bottom, then yeah, they do. So the concept of sort of hypergamy and unequal sexual marketplace distribution, right, is the Chads over here. The Chads up here, all women want the Chad 10, okay? Every woman wants Jocko Willink. Every single one of them, okay? Every woman, no matter their station in life, no matter their personal preferences, stop emote spamming, you fucking degenerates. Every single one of them wants a Chad Willink, okay? And so all the women, okay, are open to the Chad. And because men are much more sexually indiscriminate than women, the Chad can handle all the pussy being thrown at him like fastballs at a fucking baseball game, okay? And then the women who are too ugly and too useless for even the Chad to want to spend time with, these women get divvied up amongst the comparatively lower value, but nonetheless pretty okay dudes. Meaning that a portion of the population gets absolutely nothing down here, the ugly dudes. The majority of men get like spare pickings, and the top tier of men get infinite pussy. They just walk outside and they have to fucking pull pussy off their dick like fucking lamprey eels or leeches. They just, like when you dip into the creek and you pull out and there's the sucker mouths on your legs, they have to rip that pussy off real quick or it'll get stuck, okay? This is pretty much what we're working with, okay? So this is the incel worldview. Incels put themselves right down here, okay? Right down here. So they believe that in the hierarchical order of things, they are so subhumanly fucking worthless that they don't attract the attention of women. But what's more, this would not be the case if we lived in some sort of utopian system where women's sexuality is controlled. Because if that's the case, one partner per one person, people would pair up with people of approximately comparable social worth. Do you see what I'm doing here? And then, even if you're a fucking incel, subhuman, low cathinal tilt, a fucking beta male orbiter cuck down here in the lowest echelon, you can at least have the comfort of knowing that you're going to be able to have a comparably miserable, wretched woman to spend the rest of your life with. Everything that I just said may sound stupid, but I'm not joking when I say that people literally live and die by this set of misconceptions, okay? And it's really, really, really fucking important. Really fucking important that we give it some level of credence. Because if we don't, we will never be able to understand the problems that they bring up in society, okay? So, there are a number of ways to solve sort of this, because this is a very real thing that happens. If you're a very attractive and confident person who is a dude, you will have an extraordinary amount of sex available to you, for the most part. And if you're like an average dude, you have to work pretty hard usually, and if you're a very ugly dude, like having sex is like a once-in-a-lifetime miracle, okay? Now, what are some problems with this system? Well, it completely ignores the agency of women. It completely ignores the existence of non-straight people. It completely ignores the existence of non-binary people. Yes, yes, and yes. So I ask you then, what do we do to people who don't care about the agency of women, who are themselves straight, and who are themselves binary men? Because there are millions of these people, and quite a few of them vote Republican, but not all of them have to. We don't have to just relegate them to the far-right corners of society, because their misogyny, which is bred out from resentment of this perceived system, that misogyny is going to land them in groups of people who are misogynistic, and misogyny is correlated heavily with the conservative worldview. We don't need to let them go that direction. They don't have to. But I'm not interested only in converting miserable, sexless, lonely men into miserable, sexless, lonely, male, feminist lefties. This is a low tier sort of conversion, okay? What I'm interested in is breaking this system entirely, okay? All of this right here needs to fucking go. And the first thing we need to do in order for it to go is to recognize that this is actually, like, some real shit right here. This right here, this unequal distribution, is a thing that actually happens. And it is largely a product of women being more selective with their partners, on average, than men. This is changing recently, but it's still a statistically evident trend that we have to acknowledge. Have you ever checked out real femcells? They believe that the only incels are women, and that male incels are volcells because they're pretty unwilling to settle on less attractive women. Vaporwave, I've heard the exact same criticism levied at them. That there are, see, and this is kind of a funny thing, right? On the incel subreddit, there are men talking about how they've been trying for 35 years and they've never so much as breathed the scent of a woman's shampoo after she, dances gaily by him at the club. But then if you go to the real femcells subreddit, you'll actually see posts where they'll be like, I have so many creepy dudes messaging me every time I make a post here. You know what I mean? It's undeniable that women have more sexual options open to them than men. This is unquestionable. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fucking idiot. You're actually subhuman and you should brain yourself in the nearest table corner, okay? Nobody can argue that point. Obviously, women have it easier when it comes to having sex. Now, having sex with decent people? Having good sex? No. I make no such promises. But having sex at all? Yes. With that being said, let's continue forward, because I've ended up rambling for too long, and I would like to go further into the video before I do so.
And so now you have this standard for a man and a husband based on these dudes that have just been played.
Why don't incels just buy time with sex workers? For one, that's very expensive. For two, almost always illegal if you live in a Western country. And for three, that doesn't really solve the problem at all. That doesn't really solve the issue. The problem with incels isn't that their penises have never touched a vagina. The problem is that they're socially ostracized from the echelons of social and romantic interaction that people like me get to partake in freely.
Play, playboys, fun, boy toys, whatever you want to call it, girls, okay? You can call it whatever you want. But now you set this standard to say he's supposed to look like this, he's supposed to act like that. Oh, you know what? He's too corny. He likes me too much. He texts me too much. Yeah, because the men that you were messing with, you weren't even the only one. They don't text you right back. They don't call you right back because they have a more just like you. So a man comes along that is crazy about you and is interested in you, and I'm sorry to say, you have friend zoned the men that really you're compatible with, the men that would make a wonderful husband.
I can see in this woman's words a reflection of every terrible Facebook meme I've ever seen about how the woman prayed to God for a good man, and God's like, what the fuck, I gave him to you in junior year of high school. His name was Jeffrey, and you friend-zoned him, you dumb slut, and you went out and slept with Tyrone, and I bet he knocked you the fuck up with his fucking brown babies, and you had to abort them with daddy's money, and that could have been our child. This is, This is, can't you see it? Everything she's projecting right now, and she knows she's playing to the fucking audience, everything she's saying right now is a reflection of every bitter, entitled, angry, lonely fucking dude who's ever complained about woman choosing the piece of shit Chad who will beat her rather than the good, loving, nice guy who will be her best friend and treat her like a queen and rub her foot every day after a long day at work. This is so indicative of that worldview, and it's so important that we see this projected, because I want you to imagine this. I want you to internalize this video, not from the perspective of a leftist, which you probably are statistically if you're watching this stream, but rather from the perspective of a angry, lonely, 20-something dude who has never had much sexual success, who sees men more attractive than you, who are a lot more abrasive and outgoing, getting lots of women. Okay? Because this is a thing that happens all the time, and this is a very easy pattern of thought to slip into if you start to feel bitter or dejected concerning your experiences in the sexual or romantic marketplace.
A lot of you have friend zoned the good dude who's ready to be a husband and a father and give you some pretty babies. Because the other thing is men do not look like us. Let me be clear about this. We are the fairer sex. God created us to be beautiful.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, it's too perfect. It's too perfect. Oh, it's beautiful. This fits perfectly into a point I'll be making after the video. Oh, man. Let's do it. Hey, TW fucking... TW transphobia. TW misandry? Men can be beautiful. Fuck off, bitch. I'm a masculine cis fat dude, and people call me I'm hot online all the fucking time. Get out. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Not men. If you get a pretty boy and they super fine and they in the mirror more than you, honey, rest assured, he probably got some habits that go along with that. He needs all the attention from all the women because he likes to feel like he's it. And if he's actually bigger than you, you got a problem. But the problem is you looking at visuals and thinking that men are supposed to look like us or be just as gorgeous as us. No, that's not how God created this whole scenario.
I didn't anticipate sort of like the religious angle on this, and it's pretty brainlet, and that's cool and all. This is really dumb. If your dude is attractive, that's bad because he'll be vain and vapid, and if he's more attractive than you, you've got a problem, and he'll suck up all the attention, and God created, like, women to be more beautiful or some shit? Nah, fuck that. There are plenty of societies in the past have thought that men are the fairer sex. Look at the fucking Greeks. Look at pedestry. Those little boy assholes, fucking 10-year-olds they would rape, that was like the primo shit back then, okay? I'm not saying that's good, but there was obviously something going on there conceptually. Vosh has no idea what it's like to feel unworthy and lonely, what it's like to be rejected from love. I'm really trying to deliver a charitable perspective to you and your problems, Stone Zebra, okay? Like help me help you, okay?
You are the fairer sex. You're the beautiful one. You're the gorgeous one. You're the one that men go to war over. You're the one that men literally will kill for. You're the one that they're out here trying to make all this money to impress you, to get you. Quit looking at men. Is he 6'2"? Is he look like Boris Kodro or Idris Elba or Michael Ealy?
Who are these people? Also, I'm going to sort of spoil the thesis of this video a little bit and say, she's complaining about men being treated unfairly in the sexual marketplace, while she is herself perpetuating the social constructs that make that so. Pay close attention to things she says, which might exacerbate sexual inequality between men and women. This will be quizzed on this later. There'll be a test.
Do you know the percentages of men? This is what I just would die to say to my matchmaking clients and the people that would come in for consultations because they want to be matched. And they're coming to me. I'm sitting here just being a good woman. So I'm thinking these women just want to be married. These women just want a good man. Nah, boo, that's not what they wanted. What they want is if I'm going to pay this money, I want me a Michael Ealy. I want me a Boris Kodjoe. Well, look, boo, Boris Kodjoe's married. Last time I checked, Idris Elba's taken. These men are such a small percentage of the population. Do you
remember the chart I drew?
You guys understand that for a man to be over 6'2" is less than 3% of the population? And we're talking all men around the world, less than 3% of the population. Now you take out the gay.
I'm 6'2". How fucking mad are you incels right now? Be real. Re in chat. Give me the fucking re. If you're mad as fuck that I'm 6'2". And everyone pays attention to me, and everyone looks up at me just as a virtue of my height. I did nothing for it. How mad are you?
Hey guys, and you take out the guys that are not black or whatever race specific that you prefer your husband to be, and you take out the men that are broke, and you take out the players, the men who are just not ready and who are not ready to get married, aren't even looking for a wife, don't want that responsibility yet. Think about these numbers. Less than 3%. Less than 14% of the entire American male population is over 6 foot. Less than 14%. And that's all the married men and the men in prison. All of them, girls. So you're sitting around here like, oh, he's got to be 6 foot and he's got to look like this and he's got to make 6 figures or 7 figures. When you start at just height alone, do you hear the percentage that I just gave you on just height? Just height.
So, oh man. she's right, you know. Women treat short men like shit. This is completely true. Okay? That doesn't mean if you're short as a straight dude, you're permafucked or anything. I'm not subscribing to that. Women unironically treat like short dudes like absolute fucking human garbage. And the reason for this, and the reason for a lot of this, is because innate to the sort of mental sexual psychosis of womanhood is a desire to be dominated. Now, I say social there, and the reason for that is because people tend to fetishize social dynamics, right? That's the reason why race play and sub-dom shit, why this exists and why it's so popular. More so the latter than the former, I think. I assume. A lot of women are really fucking subby, and I don't think this is because they have to be this intrinsically. I refuse to believe this. After all, was Lilith not the first woman, and she was too dominant because she fucking rode Adam on top, so God tossed her out and she became the first demon? No. The reason for this is because women are taught to be submissive and docile and servile and deferential to their man, and men are supposed to be confident and dominating, blah, 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 blah. We all know the dynamic. All of us are socially conscious enough to recognize the fact that men tend to be dominant and women tend to be submissive, and this is mostly borne out because people are internalizing the external roles they're expected to fill on a gendered level. The question then being, what do we do about this? Well, I ask you, what were we to do then with our sexual psychoses if we got rid of the gender binary altogether? If we just had sexes? This person born broad shoulders, big cock. This person born womb, wide hips, what have you. No other social connotations. No nonsense about domination, one person being confident and another being submissive. Nothing about one sex having to be deferential to the other. No. I would be willing to bet overwhelmingly any amount of money, my own life, that the preponderance for people to be sexually submissive or dominant would flatten across the sexes tremendously. Now, it is possible that there's a slight bias in favor of women or assigned female at birth people being more submissive, because, I don't know, because to have, like hegemonic sex, they have to be like slammed and held down, you know, for the most part. And for the person with the penis, they can go forward with it and they don't have to slam or hold it. They can do the slamming rather than the slammed. So maybe there's a slight tilt in that respect, but I would be willing to bet almost all of it is a social performative sort of derivative rather than anything related to evolutionary psychology. So I'm going to bring this all the way back. Why are women so fucking mean to short guys? And by women, by the way, I mean like normie bitches. I don't mean all women, but a lot of women. I've certainly never met a trans girl who is mean to short guys. A lot of women are really fucking mean to short guys. And I would propose that this is because many women are, on some level, looking for men who represent physical characteristics that are reflective of their sexual interests. For men who look domineering, for men who look confident, large, and strong, because these characteristics are sexually associated with being dominant. It doesn't have to be this way, you know. It really sincerely does not, okay? And the performative, dichotomy between tall dom, short sub, this is much less pronounced in the gay male community. Why is this, do you think? Maybe because there are less preternatural associations concerning genders and their respective heights and how they may relate to social expectations and sexual pathologies? Maybe. But I would go so far as to say that one of the greatest weapons that we could wield against sexual inequality as it affects incels would in fact be a destruction of the gender roles which line people up into certain sexual expectations which may leave men with certain characteristics out into the cold. Right? I mean, after all, If there are less women who are overwhelmingly submissive and less men who are overwhelmingly dominant, and these characteristics are reflective of sexual and social expectation, it would go so far as to suggest that perhaps women would stop caring as much about men's heights. At least maybe they would start caring about men's heights as much as men care about women's heights, which is to say, much less. Let's keep going.
And if you add in what he looks like looking like Idris and making money like this and that, honey, look, you looking for the come up for real because I don't know where he's at. I was matchmaking, I would be like, man, I would go find these incredible men. And they would be like, oh, I would never date him. I'm like, I just went and found a freaking pilot, ex-Falcons player. Are you serious?
I should note, by the way, matchmaking as a concept disgusts me, and I have no respect for this industry whatsoever, okay? So this nonsense she's talking about, like, matching people, that's not what I care about. I care about her talk on double standards.
But he don't look, it's like he's gotta be perfect. But you're not perfect. You got issues and unresolved issues, and you got a temper, and you're bossy, and you're controlling, and men don't...
Calling women yeah, all right.
Don't even like to be around you long term. You run everybody away. You think you're so much the ish that you're bougie and vain and stuck up. And men don't like it. And you wonder why you can't keep a man. You wonder why nobody wants to be around you.
So, I don't think this is necessarily reflective of the incel worldview, because I think a lot of incels say, like, you know, any woman, please God, any fucking woman, please fucking God, any, like they wouldn't be complaining this much about personality. Though, there are a lot of MGTOWs, men going their own way, men who believe that society has become so misandrist that leaving it is the only way, literally just sort of a walkout protest. MGTOWs are very often of the opinion that feminism has ruined Western women. That Western women, you know, Americans and British women or what have you, have been turned into sort of screeching, entitled, ugly cows that don't care at all for men and have no idea how to take care of a man. And this is why so many of them fetishize the imagined docile domestic Asian woman, because Asian women are very often socialized to be more... Okay, listen, this is a bit of a meme here, but it's totally fucking true. I've been to Japan, okay? All of their people are docile over there, okay? They're just a lot more fucking complacent than we are. We are very loud and abrasive, us Americans. They fetishize this imagined idea of having, like, the perfect Japanese waifu, you know? Who will wear, like, the cute, sort of demure maid clothing, and they'll cook the meals, and they'll be, like, the perfect domestic servant. So while this isn't necessarily reflective of the incel mentality, there is a broader movement of men's entitlement for which this assertion that these women are like bossy and don't deserve the men because the men don't even want to be with them, there is something in there which is reflective of what she is saying here. And Tasca, don't you worry, I'll be talking about confidence, I promise.
Sweetheart, listen, get nice, be sweet. Men are simple creatures. They're simple, but your standards are standardizing you right out of the game.
I want to say, by the way, I consider myself a fairly complex and in-depth person. I don't... This is some misandry I'm not here for.
Everybody else is getting married. Everybody else is having babies. But you steady like, oh, I'm not settling. I'm not going to settle. I know what I deserve. And you know, even when I post those type of memes, I'm like, you know what? There's some real stuck up women right now that are about to read this, and it's going to reinforce literally their false standards, their ridiculous standards. You know what? I'm not going to settle. But in the meantime, boo, you're not even half the things that you have on your list as requirements for a man. You're not.
We're about to get to it. This is the meaty shit. Also, Lexwitch, as much as I'd love to have you on right now, I am feeling very fastidiously focused on this topic. So probably not today. Whatever the case may be, though, here, we're about to get the blessed double standards, okay? Yes, please, because so many of those are true, okay? I'm about to pull diamonds out of shit. Just watch. I don't even got no gloves.
Not even half those things. But you want that in a man. And you don't want to build with anybody. You don't want to build a life together. Listen, honey, you better find yourself a Build-A-Bear. You need to find yourself a Build-A-Boo. Okay, somebody that meets some requirements of who you want in character, your values, integrity, right? Lifestyle, goals, vision. Where are you two going together? Purpose, passion. Somebody when I made this post, and everybody went off on it, said, what did you compromise on when it came to Mr. Pope? What did you compromise on? Listen, girls, I'm writing it in my book right now. I came from dating Mr. Gorgeous. I came from dating Mr. Trainer. I came from dating Mr. Baller. I was flying here and doing this and that. And at the end of the day, all of them were players. They were F-boys. No, I'm not supposed to say that word, but I don't have another word for it.
Is this like a Christian Minecraft server? She could say like promiscuous men. This is really weird. I don't know why she can't swear. This is YouTube. I don't understand.
Y'all want to turn hoes into husbands the same way men want to turn hoes into housewives. And that's just not how it works.
That's another. God, there are so many like weird dichotomies that play into this, but what she just engaged in right there is called the whore Madonna complex. Okay, it is a very it's not a studied, it's theory, but it's a very well expanded upon sort of concept that very often men will, in regards to the sexual perception of the other, the woman, will frame them into one of two categories: the Madonna or the whore. The Madonna being reflective in a way of the Virgin Mary, of a Christ-like, a noble, a chaste, a virtuous, also a very demure, very submissive, and very sexually inexperienced woman, as opposed to the whore, which I'm sure you can imagine the characteristics of based off the title that they've been given. But very often, this dichotomy causes men to experience something akin to a trauma when one which they perceive to be one is actually the other. The whore is one which, once you are that, you cannot be anything other. But the smallest speck of dirt can reduce a Madonna. How many... Here, wait, can we raise some hands in chat? How many of you were like dudes in high school who had a crush on a girl who you thought was like super sweet, and you'd be like, oh, we'd be cute together, and then you heard a rumor that she like had sex or like gave head or something, and it like crushed you like emotionally right here? It literally just fucking destroyed you, because conceptually the idea of like of liking a person, I'm seeing some mixed reactions down there in chat, huh? Hey, maybe happens a little bit, huh? I see a lot of you fucking virtue signalers down there being like, nope, nuh-uh, never, nope, never cared. But it happens to a lot of people, okay? Happens to a lot of people. Happened to me back in high school before I started getting laid. I was pretty young. Yeah. I'm seeing people in chat going like, yeah, that fucking happened. I bet if I go to my YouTube chat right now, hold on. YouTube chat, my DGen YouTube chat. How the fuck are we doing? Yep. I'm seeing, That's what I'm seeing. All right, let's keep going.
Because until a man is ready, he is not going to choose you. It doesn't matter how you put it down in the bedroom. It doesn't matter what kind of values. It doesn't matter how big your butt is and what you look like. Until a man is ready, he is not settling down. And literally,
I agree with that. You shouldn't force people to settle down if they don't want to.
I'm literally writing this. So my compromises came because I had these standards, just like most of you, that were way up here because I had all these experiences that created an appetite. It created a false standard in my life of what I thought I deserved or what I thought I needed.
See, and right there, she highlights the issue, okay? This is, all right, you're going to love this, okay? Now to you, I introduce another incel concept, okay? Are you ready for it? Okay? It's called alpha fucks, beta bucks, okay? Alpha, A, fucks, beta, bucks, okay? Some of us have heard this before. I know I have. The idea is that if you're a Chad, if you're right up here at the top, right up here, that was like $60, guys. Jesus. It was given to me for gas money by my girlfriend's dad. These guys up here, the Uber Alpha Chads, okay? They need nothing. All right? But they want pussy. okay? And assholes. They do anal all the time, but only with girls, otherwise it'd be gay. They want all of it, and they can have all of it. They get to fuck everyone. And because they're so attractive, because they're so sexually proficient, they have no trouble wooing women just with their looks. But if you're any of these fucking guys, see? Down here, if you're any of this shit, if you're not in the Chad bracket, you're a fucking beta. You're not a fucking alpha. You're a fucking beta, dude. And what does a beta need to do to get laid? Well, you're not attractive enough to just go to clubs and wink at women and be slamming her in all holes like an hour later in the fucking stall, you know? You can't do that. That's not open to you. Maybe you can luck out. You know, alcohol can help, all right? But for the most part, if you want to impress and attract the female, you need to rely on other characteristics. Things like stability, income, having a home, having a car, being able to take care of children, being kind, being reliable, being a beta. And since men typically make more money than women, this is pretty indisputable, it's likely that you'll be contributing a disproportional amount of your income, a lot of which is going to be towards providing the necessities and livelihood which require, or which are required for, maintaining the interest of a woman. Alpha fucks, beta bucks. The alphas at the top get to fuck all they want, and everyone below them have to, in order to enjoy even a fraction of the sexual success that the men on the top do, they have to shill out. Now, is this true? Yeah. Yes, for the most part. This dichotomy is fairly well represented. If you're very, very attractive, whether you're a man or a woman, it's just easier to get laid. Duh, obviously. And the ease with which you get laid is lessened the less attractive that you are. And if you still want to get laid, if you're less attractive, there are other things that you can do to make yourself appealing to long-term partners. This is exactly what this dumb bitch was talking about just a minute ago. You can't turn hoes into husbands. These fucking Chad dudes, the reason why these bitches came to me looking for advice on how to hook up with guys is because they had all their expectations set so high by all the alphas they were fucking. But now they were looking for a man to settle down with. And what they didn't realize is the very scant number of men who they want to settle down with, the alphas up here, are too busy slamming 18 pussies an hour to give a fuck about spending the rest of their life with any one woman. Get out of here. Why the fuck would they do that? No, that concession must be made by the betas. Which the woman who's looking for a partner doesn't want to get. Who wants a beta? No one wants a beta. Do you understand this dichotomy? I hope, by the way, it should be evident. It should be evident, by the way, from like what I'm saying, that this is a horrendously toxic way of looking at the world. But that doesn't change the fact that it's true, and that it happens, and that it has a very real impact on how men and women interact sexually. And that's a problem. And it's a problem that I want to fix. And it is easy as it would be for me to say, like, oh, just fuck gender, everyone should be pansexual, no one should care. And while that would probably solve quite a bit of this, that doesn't change the fact that that's not happening anytime soon. So let's get back to it. We're gonna dive in deep, okay? We're gonna dive in through the incel mentality to emerge out the other side. And once we're on that other side, we're going to start talking solutions, okay?
But yet it was a false standard because none of them were men of God. None of them were Carrie Pope. None of them literally had their values. They weren't good husbands and fathers and brothers. They don't take care of their mama. Literally, these men lacked all the values that really matter in a marriage. A husband is totally different than dudes you date out here, these dudes that are just playing around. A husband is a totally different animal. And so like many of you, I had these standards. I had a type. Let's be real, girl. I had a type. My type was businessman. My type was CEO. My type was getting it done. My type was literally go-getter. 6- and 7-figure men running companies. Those are the only kind of men I was in relationships with. Okay, that's what I was committing to. I played with some boy toys from that instead of F boys, okay? Girls, boy toys. I play.
What the fuck is she? You'd think that holy shit. You'd think that one of the fucking business owners this dumb cunt was able to snag would give her the money necessary to buy a fucking $50 webcam. Jesus Christ. When was this video uploaded? Wasn't it 2017? Yeah, this was late 2017. I'm pretty sure the webcam I'm using, which I bought for $50, the one that you're looking at me through right now, was out at that time.
Around thinking I was trying to be serious because of lust. So many of you have fallen in lust. And then you think, and now you want love and you're trying to compare it to lust. And that's not how love works. So you date Mr. Gorgeous and he's got the 6-pack and he's 6'4" and he's chocolate. And then you date the Mr. Baller and he got money and you in the bins and you whipping and you flying and you drinking and dinner and whining and dining. And at the end of the day now.
Is this a problem women typically have? Can the women in my chat speak up? Is the word like you were whipping and balling in the Mercedes Benz? Is this like a typical? I don't know.
Now you created an appetite for yourself, or you better yet, maybe you haven't even experienced it for yourself like me, but you want it. So you're on Instagram and you're looking at people's lifestyles and you're looking at people on the scene, traveling and doing all this and comparing yourself and saying, why can't I have that? I want that life too. And then when a good man comes along, you're comparing him saying, no, he's not giving me that lifestyle. I want that I see other people having. I deserve that. I'm just as pretty as that. I need to get me a man that's a baller too. And so now you have these false standards, whether you
as enormously stupid as most of what she's saying is, this is true. People's expectations concerning a relationship have been absolutely fucking totaled by social media. The performative relationship where you brag about like the standards, and this is something, by the way, this is something only women do, okay? Get fucking real. There are no boys out there on Instagram who are taking pics being like, hey, just floating in the pool, my sugar mommy fucking giving me ayo, and then like the cam tilts, and there's like a 40-year-old woman with massive tits wearing a string bikini like lounging by the poolside, and she's wearing like 18 gold necklace. This doesn't fucking happen. Nobody fucking does this, okay? Women do this, okay? And the reason for this is because men can buy women, and men can buy women's attention. This doesn't happen as often with women, all right? Which is the case for many reasons. There are many reasons why this is the case. And I could go over this. See, and there are people right now like, oh God, a sugar mommy? Like, you want that shit. Hey, can you fucking hypers in chat raise up your fucking tendy fingers if you wish you had a sugar mommy, if you're in your 20s right now or whatever, and you wish that a hot fucking big titty sugar mommy who is busy with work most of the times, but every once in a while she like spends some time with you, you get to go up to her fucking big 16-bedroom mansion and lounge and like fuck her. And she gets the tendies out for you. You want that shit, don't you? God, you want that shit so fucking bad. That's what these women are doing, dude. That's what they're doing. Except they're getting that shit. They get that shit. Now, there are sugar mamas out there, and there are women, older women who are wealthy who will, like, pay for the attention and affection of men, but that doesn't happen nearly as often, and you fucking know it, okay? You fucking know it. The reason why this happens so often within the men purchasing women's attention, there are a couple reasons. For one, women are considered trophy accessories to men's power. The reverse is not the case. This is why the big fucking celebrities, the big fucking rappers and movie stars and shit will show up with like a bunch of hot girls with them. No fucking powerful businesswoman or actress does this with like a bunch of hot 21-year-old twinks with like big fucking cock bulges through their gym shorts, okay? No, women don't fucking do that. If women want to appear powerful, they show up on their own. If men want to appear powerful, they show up with as many women they can fit under their arms as possible. Now, do I think the world would be a better place if powerful women were constantly followed by an entourage of hot, nubile, young, fucking, like, barely legal boys? Yes. I can't describe why, but I feel like this would be a better and more just world, okay? But it is not the world that we're in. And there's a reason for that. Apart from the fact that women are more of an accessory, than men are. We also have the fact that, typically speaking, the dynamics by which men become wealthy are usually very different to the dynamics by which women become wealthy. Usually, I think, women, especially powerful women, women who are wealthy or very driven, who have a lot of social power, these women usually tend to find something of a bedrock partner, or no partner at all. They don't really go like fucking around that often, and I think the reason for that is because of the social stigma associated with whoring around as a woman as opposed to doing so as a guy. Think about it. Catherine the Great in Russia, legendarily rumored to have died when the saddle that she used to fuck her own horse broke. Catherine of Russia was known for having many orgies with attractive young men, and if I recall correctly, women too. And for this, she has been maligned throughout history. For a century and a half, longer, Catherine the Great has been known as the whore queen, the whore empress of Russia. Every single ruler of every single monarchy has been slutting around with a harem. Every single one of them. But because she was known for doing it, unlike other great female monarchs like Queen Elizabeth, who maintained a very chaste public persona, because she was known to have done it, she was maligned internationally. And I think the same thing happens with powerful women today. If there's a powerful man, wealthy or social acumen, who fucks around a lot, everyone, oh, you know, great guy, wow, who, such power, big cock. But if there's a woman doing it with young men, the power dynamic is flipped. It's not seen as her confidently exercising her power by attracting young, attractive men and fucking the life out of all of them. It's seen as her inviting big, studly men to pound her. You can see this in the fucking porn comics too, okay? How many times have we been reading a manga? I'm sorry. A hentai, okay? How many times have we been watching this, okay? And the premise is that there's like an aloof, effant, wealthy, you know, urbanite woman who puts herself in a position where she's about to have a lot of sex, and then it goes from her starting off being super like confident and brazen, but like fucking 10 panels in, there are like 18 dudes throat pounding her, and she has the fucking a hegao face because it's so incredible being dominated by all these young men. This shit doesn't happen in reverse. You never have fucking doujinshis or dojins or whatever where the fucking powerful dude has a bunch of hot bitches who want to fuck him, and then they all start fucking him and he gets like dominated by all of them, and at the end he's just like a big mess laying on the ground like, oh god, the sex was so good, they all dominated me with their sexual virility. This doesn't happen. Very fundamentally, okay, the way in which we view the sexual dynamic between men and women, and of course by this I mean cisgender men and cisgender women, okay? Get your fucking id pull out of your ass. Very, very, very often, when we look at it, the person with the penis does the dominating. The person with the vagina does the reverse. In fact, if anything, biology supports the opposite, okay? Usually, if you're a person with a penis, you can rut once, maybe twice, before you're fucking out, okay? Whereas if you have a vagina, if you're a fucking strong athletic person with a vagina, you can take on a whole football team, okay? Absolutely. You can take on the whole fucking football team, okay? And the coach and the manager. Amazing. Amazing. But we don't think of it that way. We think of it as men, people with penises, dominating the woman, people with vaginas, of exhausting them, of overwhelming them with the virility, even though this is not at all reflected in how sexual dynamics actually play out in reality. I understand that I've been ranting on this for quite some time, and it seems a little bit tangential, but like I said, this is such a complicated, disentangled mess. Initially, I thought like maybe I should write a point-by-point list of issues that I want to tackle, but I think that freeform might actually be the way to go here. Counterpoint's video on incels, while not perfect, is already extremely fucking good and comprehensive at covering this in a point-by-point manner, okay? I'm rather interested in giving sort of the dialogic train of consciousness that I have concerning this. And I think that a lot of this sexual inequality can be traced back to this very specific dynamic. The idea that men can buy women's attention, but not the reverse, because of how men see Because of how society see men who do so versus women who do so, because people imagine that a man who fucks many women is doing so in a domineering, powerful way, but a woman who fucks many men is allowing herself to be commandeered and dominated in such a way, so on and so on and so on. It all stems back to some very weird, fucked up hang-ups we have concerning sexual dichotomies, okay?
You've experienced it, or whether you just want it. That lust of the eye, whether you're just, you might not have ever experienced it, but you're saying, well, that's what I want. But either way, you're messed up, boo. Either way, you're not getting married. And if you do mess up and get one of these dudes on a string.
Okay, so this is like a black woman. Is it like an insult to call someone boo? Is this like an insult? I'm fucking white as hell. Please, God, someone let me know, because I feel like I'm being insulted.
And get him to marry you. You notice I said get him to marry you. You're going to be in so much trouble.
It's not. It's a term of endearment. Oof, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling endeared to.
Because he ain't going to change. We have clients right now, married clients. Try to turn a hoe into a husband, and he's still hoeing around even though they're married. He's still got women on the side, and he doesn't want to let his wife and kids go, but yet he's still got this thing for having it on the side because he has an appetite for it. And it's very hard to change unless someone's changed before you marry them. So you understand what I'm saying about...
I do agree with that, huh?
Stupid question. I'm so sorry. What is the name of the main goat person in Alfie?
What?
What is her name?
Am I being asked about a porn comic while I'm streaming? What is her name? The big goat bitch? The very tall one?
Yeah, the main one.
It's
main
like,
one that wants monogamy.
it's like Ozge.
Ozge?
It's like O-Z-G... it's like O-Z apostrophe G-E or something like that. Ozgul? Ozge? It's something like that. Hey, no problem. Speaking of like doujins that and hentai comics that have like representation of men and women and shit, INCELS comics are, God, I obviously can't show them on stream, but they tend to do a pretty good job with this shit. INCELS is like god tier, like triple S plus tier porn artist. Honestly, anyone who's not jerking it right now to INCELS while watching this stream, you're probably a fucking moron. Like seriously.
Standards. Your standards for a husband have to change right now. You've got to make up your mind about some values and some character. Who is this man? What does his life look like? Who is he? Because it's going to be way different than your boy toys. It's going to be way different than what you've done. So my compromise...
A reinforcement of the alpha fucks, beta bucks thing. By the way, everything that she's describing right now is called hypergamy in the incel community. Hypergamy is, they say that women are hypergamous and that we live in a hypergamous society. The idea is that women are constantly seeking a partner with the highest social value, meaning that if a woman finds like a tier 5 dude or whatever that she's into, she's going to be fine with that until she finds a social opportunity to jump up to a tier 8 or to a tier 10. Meaning women don't actually find contentedness in any one particular person. They are constantly seeking the stronger male. Now this of course is absolute nonsense because it derives essentially from the idea that women can't feel sincere love. Which is ridiculous. Hyena.
What?
Do you love me?
I do. Why?
Say it loud.
I love you.
Louder.
I don't want to.
One more time? It's for the video.
I love you.
There we go. See? Disproven. She's shy, but we came through in the end. I love you too.
I love you. Why are you yelling at me?
Are you not watching the stream?
I am. I was looking up Alfie.
She's looking at porn. Anyway, but the argument of the incels is that we live in a hypergamous society because we live in one in which monogamy is not enforced by the state. Therefore, women have the opportunity to break up with their lower tier men, should they choose to find one in the first place, and jump on up to a higher tier man at the highest, like the greatest possible, or the soonest possible opportunity. Whatever the case may be, blew a bunch of minds with INCELS right then. I don't think it should blow. Everyone should know about INCELS. INCELS is a good ass meme.
Can I drop Alfie in the chat, or is that...
No, you can. You can drop porn links in chat as long as they're marked not safe for work.
This is for me. I'm going to answer that specific question. I'm going to get off here because you know I'm rushing to come on and do this. My specific compromises were that Mr. Pope, when I met him, was not rolling in money. I said I would never date a pastor, and he's a pastor.
Oh, God, this dumb bitch married a fucking pastor? That explains a lot.
Right? I was running from that calling on my life. Didn't want nothing to do with that, okay? Until I accepted that calling on my own life, that's when I was prepared for my husband to come. So financially, he wasn't what I was used to. He's not the CEO-driven businessman. He's more artistic in nature. He's creative in nature. He's a musician. Totally different than everything I had experienced previous. I know, right? Alicia, look, I got this build up, girls, because you know I don't match y'all for matchmaking no more, so I can tell y'all the truth. I can be real and raw with it, because I don't need your money, right? I only match men. Now, you want some dating coaching and you want it raw and real so you can make some changes so you can get married? Hit me up. LifeWithThePopes.com, dating coaching. I do it with women all over the country to help them.
This is getting weird.
Get their standards and principles right. Okay, Mr. Pope, country boy. All I dated was city men. All I dated was ballers and shot callers and men on the scene. And that man, everybody, he owns that and he's this and he's that. Mr. Pope is a simple man. He's a simple man.
Are we just up to like self-repping?
They're running down their standards and what they're really wanting in a match and in a husband. I realized you wouldn't even date Mr. Pope. Like he.
All right, she's just being a dumb bitch now. That's cool, I guess. That's a human right. Hey, look, it's me, kind of. All right, let's get to it then. All right, Hello, my beautiful YouTube audience. I hope you enjoyed this first segment where I talk a lot. But this bitch also talks a lot. Join me tomorrow for part 2 of me talking a lot, where I talk a lot, but only me this time and not other people. About being confident and growing from the incel mentality.